Yes, yes,
Welcome
yes.
to Bridging the Gap, live with Ebony and Paul.
Yeah. Oh, Paul and Ebony.
Oh, Paul and Ebony. However you want to say it. Is it ladies first, Ebony and Paul, or is it Paul and Ebony? I don't know.
We can go ladies first.
Okay, period.
Yeah. So today, I wanna talk about, or we want to talk about, essentially the
Come on, we. Come on, we. Hello on today. All
the
right.
bringing more visibility to
Yes.
like what you can actually do within this industry.
Yes.
We work within construction, of course, with ConstructReach. We're consultants in this space. We are bringing awareness and visibility to young talent about the different opportunities that exist for them within construction. But one of the things I think that's really limited is like people's knowledge about like what you can actually do within the industry.
And I would say take that a little bit further.
Yeah.
What can you do within the industry beyond the hard hat and the hammer? I think it's easy for those to eye railroad and civic, right? Construction, maybe residential construction, maybe a new building going in within a community, right? It's very easy to point out those things, but beyond the hard hat and the hammer, beyond what you see, what other opportunities, right,
Yeah.
exist?
I think one of the things that we don't do, or maybe young people and even some adults, um, don't think about like construction as a sector. So essentially, any sector of work, it entails like a lot of professions
A lot,
underneath it,
a lot.
right? So, when you think about construction, the construction sector is the built environment. And so there's so many different types of jobs. Even if you are interested in numbers, finance, accounting, or what have you, you still have companies that need to have accurate bookkeeping. You still have companies that need to have financial records, right? Just like any other business. You think, okay, well, I'm interested in marketing or what have you. Okay, well, these businesses have brands that need to resonate, right? They need to market to maybe their clients. They need to market to a certain community. They need to market to a particular market if they're coming into a new market for the very first time. So when you think about the construction industry, we wanna bring more visibility and awareness to the fact that you can do pretty much any type of job that you're doing somewhere else underneath the umbrella of the construction industry.
Matter of fact, did you know that it's about on average 150 different roles that exist within the industry? I'm talking about skilled labor. I'm talking about your engineers, your architects, right? Those who
That's a
are
lot.
behind the scenes, right? I'm talking about the specialized technicians, the technology and the technological advancements and integrations that happen. So even at your most simplistic construction build, that's 60 people at 60 different roles building that particular build out.
Yeah.
So it gives lens to how much, right, that we don't talk about beyond maybe specialized trades. I mean, maybe when you think about construction, you don't think about project management. Maybe when you think about construction, you don't think about, to your point, from accounting, but even estimating, critical thinking abilities,
Surveying,
surveying,
technology.
right, drone
Yeah.
piloting. Like maybe that never even crossed your mind. Like, oh, being a drone pilot can be a contributor to the built environment. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's give visibility to those opportunities. So, why do you feel like at this point of where we are as a sector, built environment, that we need to give more visibility to the jobs that people may not know about?
Well, I mean, I think because essentially, those are jobs that need to be filled as well. Those are jobs that a younger demographic that is moving into the stage in life where they're weighing what their options are. Like they need to be made aware of what their options are and have an informed perspective about what those options are.
Yeah.
For us, it's all about making sure that an adolescent transitioning into young adulthood, we call it a lot of times the first major intersection of life because there's so many different avenues that you can go, and we want to make sure that these young people understand what their options are so that they can be informed about what direction they can go in and then weigh those options as well, right? And so when you only have a limited view of what you can do, then you are maybe disqualifying yourself or putting yourself out of the running for things that you're probably more gifted and would find more meaningful or interested in doing, and so that's a huge thing because if you don't get exposed to it, then you can't envision yourself doing it. And if you're not in an environment that is going to cultivate it, then it's going to be hard for you to have folks that are in your community or in your circle that are going to point you in a direction of it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important to let people know. And this is everybody. This could be educators, this could be young people, this could be industry folks who are thinking about their pipeline.
Yeah.
Bringing awareness for what they do, because I think sometimes we get into our routine of things as an adult, and we think that just because we operate in this world with other professionals that do the work that we do, and we have peers and we have colleagues that know our work very well, and they speak our language, if you will, that is common sense for everybody. And it's like, no, that's
Common
not the
ain't
case.
so common.
Right, common ain't so common, right? When you get out of your circle. And so
Yeah.
I think it's being able to understand that there's a limited understanding of, like, from A to Z,
Yeah.
what somebody can do within this industry. And I think the industry has to begin to bring more awareness to the vast amount of opportunities that exist within construction at large.
And what I love about our I Built This initiative and program is that we take in consideration the full breadth of construction, right? And understanding that the full breadth is not accessible as we think. How can we as industry, how can we, those that are ambassadors for the industry, right, really begin to break that mold of thinking of the full breadth to include those things that are skilled labor, to those things that could be high level management.
Yep.
And all of them require skill sets. And all of them are contributors to building successfully and safely. Like we were just with CFPI, right? The California Fire Prevention Institute. And I think for even students in that particular geographical location, where fire prevention is very much top of mind in that particular region, but also bringing that into the view of construction.
Yep.
There are preventative measures, there are protective measures as relate to fire protection and prevention that go into building a building.
Every single building that gets built.
Like every single building.
Right.
Let alone the also fire protection of your fire alarms, your fire sprinklers that are installed there after the building is constructed, and how those things are managed, right? Everybody most likely on average has some type of fire prevention, right, in their households, or a protection of a fire alarm, right? It's customary. Those are integrated into the safety of a building.
Yep.
But did you really connect that or correlate that to the industry of construction? And so that's what we mean when we say full breadth. When we think about the people that are designing the building codes to build safety, to those who are actually cutting the 2x4s, to those who are inspecting it, to those who are instilling the electricity of that building, or the HVAC.
It's
You
so
name
much.
it, to estimating the cost of those supplies that's going to go into the build. Like those are the different roles, right? And then the project manager that maybe came out of a collegiate pathway.
That's the thing,
So it's just like all these things.
When we started having conversations with the coding and the permitting side of the
Yeah.
industry, and developing that partnership and relationship, a couple of years ago, just think about it.
Yeah.
Everything that gets built legally, the right way.
Okay. That part, okay?
Right.
The right way.
Everything that gets built, actually, somebody has to approve it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to say yes. Like somebody is reviewing those plans to say, okay, yes, you're building according to the proper specs. You're building according to the proper safety measures, so that when people enter this space now, they are going to be safe.
Yes.
Right? Like that's a whole other side of the industry that doesn't get talked about a lot, but the needs are there.
The needs are there. And that's
Right.
what we mean by the full breadth of opportunity. I think, and also, not only is it for our next generation to be aware of,
Yeah.
but I also think for our educators, as an industry, as ambassadors for the built environment, we need to make sure, right, that through our educational relationships,
Yep.
our work-based learning opportunities, our stepping foot in the classroom to share with students about career pathways, that we're advocating for the full breadth and not just one or two. Because I think in total, what that will yield for ROI is actually a reposturing of the industry at large, that it's not as labor heavy as one may think. It's not as unsafe safe as one may think. It is definitely diversified of opportunities that everybody can bring their gift to. And that's what we really are passionate about here at ConstructReach, through not just IBT, but even our consultation with industry partners. That how are you talking about and advocating for your sector?
And I would love to know, like, just drop in the chat, like, when you hear the word construction, what do you think? Do you think clean? Do you think professional? Do you think technologically savvy? Do you think dirty? Do you think hard hat, like rugged? Like, what do you think? Do you think uneducated? Do you think educated? Like, let me know. Like, what do you think in terms of, or let us know, what do you think in terms of the industry? Like, if you hear that word, just construction, like, what comes into your mind?
What is the visual representation? And I would ask, after you get that thought in mind, and you DM us and you comment on the comments and tell us about what comes to mind, is that still true? Or is there some areas of opportunity for us as the built environment, right? That's you included. Anybody that's in the environment, that's us, right? Us and we. What can we be doing differently to help to reposture and create more accessibility and visibility to what we do every day?
Yeah. No, that's true, because, how you perceive something to be, that carries a lot of weight.
What did they say? What's the quote? Perception is reality?
Perception is reality. Right? Even if that perception is untrue, you're going to live according to how you view something, right?
Until it changes.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity for, based on what we hear from you all, there's an opportunity to maybe lean into, either solidifying some of those perceptions or breaking some of those misconceptions that you have, about the industry. But I think regardless of that, the state of the industry is in a place where there needs to be more education about what's available and what you can do, right? You don't have 4 million jobs that are going to be available. You don't have 400,000 jobs that are available today without reevaluating how you're bringing awareness and attracting young talent, right, to come into this industry for the overall sustainability. So got to take inventory of where we are, maybe how we got to where we are, and then how are we going to move forward, So I think that that's super important, but it's so many different avenues that you can take, even on the entrepreneur side.
Absolutely. And just think about it. If a student, it becomes more aware about the trajectory, would that also help our pipeline? Absolutely. Do they know that there's a higher start pay within the industry?
Yeah.
Do they know that there's pathways that do not require a collegiate degree?
You get paid. You get paid to learn.
And then there's opportunity to get paid to earn and learn.
Yeah.
I don't know that everyone knows it. Did you know that even if you are a parent, right? If you are a community stakeholder, if you are an industry leader, did you know that your student that's in your backyard, in your community, around the corner from you may not have any idea of the possibilities? How do we unlock that? And how do we make it more accessible? That's what we're on a mission to do, bridging the gap. That gap is wide. But if we get an opportunity to come together collectively, right, collaboratively, we can close that gap of learning, that learning curve, that exploration, exposure, accessibility, so that it's there. Why do we need it to be there? We need it like yesterday, because we're on the heels of the crisis. 2031 is just around the corner, right? We're what are we, midway March? So that means to me, 2031, 4 million jobs that we would be short of. We need to have activation now about what is the solutions, what could we be doing?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. So, I mean, that's essentially why we do what we do, but it takes a collective effort. We need this times 100, right?
Yeah.
Like, because when you have, this is not just a citywide issue, a municipality issue, a state issue.
Yeah.
When you have generational issues, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a huge undertaking. And so when you think about the needs, like, it has to be a collective effort, and it has to be built into, like, your business objectives from an employer perspective. It has to be written into your curriculum and your desired outcomes as an educational perspective, from an educational perspective, from a consultative perspective. I mean, that's, our business is centered around that.
Yeah.
right? So we're doing this all day, every day, because we know that other professionals, they have jobs, right? They have roles and responsibilities. They're trying to do other things, in terms of what's important for their business. But this also needs to become important. But that's where you're able to collaborate and work with others who are in the space 24/7 that can maximize, right, your efforts as a company, where you can go farther, by working with others who are doing this work all day, every day. But also, when you think about the industry of construction, in addition to the different avenues that you can take, there are misconceptions out there about the industry as well. And so it's being able to demystify, right?
Yep.
Some of those misconceptions. That's why we wanted to know, like, let us know, like, what comes to mind when you hear the word construction, right? Because what comes to mind speaks volumes. And we want to make sure that the right thing is coming to mind. I think possibility, different routes, right? It's high paying.
High paying. What educational backgrounds do I need to have?
Yep.
What type of skill sets or certifications, industry-wide certifications or skills that I need to have, right,
Yep.
in my toolbox, in my tool belt to be able to do the job well? I don't think that students even know, maybe even educators know, 1 out of 9 globally, 1 out of 9 people, right, are in the construction industry globally. And so to me, that speaks to the awareness of the lack thereof, how big the construction industry is. It is a $1 trillion industry.
Multi-trillion dollar. It's an
Yeah.
economic indicator. So the sector is so big,
Yeah.
to where you measure the health of the economy based off of construction, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the economic indicators, right? So it lets you know, the industry is so, I'm saying it to let you know, to kind of go back to what you were saying, the industry is so large as to you measure how good or how unhealthy the industry is doing, or the economy is doing, based on how well the construction industry is performing, or what's coming, or the demand that's there. And so that's how large it is. It's a multi-trillion dollar industry, and employs millions of people. But when you think about that, right, like 4 million, that's 40% of the workforce that is going to be aging out within the next handful of years, translates to about 4 million jobs. That's a lot of work that still needs to get done, and a whole lot of people that need to be in the industry to be able to fulfill that.
Yeah, we talked about that on a previous episode about, currently 45 to 65% of jobs are being impacted because of the labor shortage. So that means that's hitting the bottom line.
Yep, that's more
helping-
money.
That's more money, more
More
money,
money,
more
more
money.
money.
That means the efficiencies are being challenged. The stretch of capacities, right, for organizations, GCs, subcontractors alike, capacities are being feeling it, right? The constraints of it, because of what we have not been able to do holistically of engaging, informing, right? Creating those possibilities. So we need it more than ever. But first and foremost, I think education is key. Understanding what are the routes that you can take and the possibilities, and how do we showcase that, right? Do we showcase it through utilizing our work sites as field trips, right? If you can't have a young person that's under 18 be on your site working, how can you utilize that site safely to expose the industry?
Yep.
How can you knock on the door of your neighborhood, junior high, high school, even your elementary school, right, to talk about the construction environment? There are so many different ways that don't require a heavy lift. We're asking, our call to action for the industry is just to activate. Get involved in your local community. Share the opportunities. Mentor someone on your block, in your neighborhood, on your street, next door. Talk about, share your. It could be as little as
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. The next time maybe your son or your daughter's friend is over, talking about your career pathway, talking about how you got where you got, that could spark an opportunity, right, for that next generation to be inspired to bring their gifts and abilities to this environment called construction. We need all the talent. We need, again, the critical thinker, the geometry wizard, okay? We need the problem solver. We need all of that. We need the ones that love to take things apart and put them back together. We need all of that, those skill sets, to be a part of this industry. And for my educators out there, let us know when you think about construction. What are some things that we can demystify for your students? What are ways can the industry come alongside you to help you share and showcase the various opportunities? Again, we've got away from shop classes, but now we're getting back to CTE pathways.
Yeah, that's career and technical education.
Right, work-based learning opportunities, right? So now we're getting back to that. There's usually anywhere from 18 to 22 clusters under the Department of Education, but within that cluster, that may or may not be accessible to every single student across the country.
Yep.
So whether you have a CTE pathway that highlights construction or advanced manufacturing engineering, how can your students within your building have visibility to the industry?
Yeah.
That's what we really want to know. So when you think about construction, what has construction not been able to do, or what is it doing well? That way we can share out also best practices, because why? We want to close the gap. The gap between industry and education, we want to narrow it. Why? Because we need amazing talent that we know that exists. The cool thing is that the trade schools, right, the technical school enrollment has increased. Mm-hmm. What that signifies to us, right, that are in the building bar, that are paying attention, is that students want to be hands-on. Students want to be involved in things that they can say, I built that.
Yep.
They want to be involved in things that have meaning and purpose, that leave an imprint. So we know that to be true. Right? If not, the programs wouldn't exist.
No, that's the thing. And people want to be a part of something where they know that their work, like the amount that they're investing in,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, is going to pay off. Like, they're able to see the fruit of their labor. And I think construction offers that opportunity where you're able to see like what your work contributed to.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's unique because oftentimes people give a lot to certain things, mm-hmm. and then they look up and say, man, you know, like, where did it go? Mm-hmm. Am I making any progress? The amount of time, attention, and effort that I put into something, do I see any fruit coming from that? Mm-hmm. And construction, you know, I think is one of the few career pathways that, you know, you can have where you're like, at the end of every day,
yeah,
you can say, yep, we moved a little bit further today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's gratifying for a lot of people, mm-hmm. because they're able to attach results with input, mm-hmm. you know, and 100%. That pains a lot of people in life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, regardless of what you do, we want to be attached to something, especially if we're giving our all and we're giving so much time to it.
Yeah.
And we are operating in our gifting. Like, we want to see that it's attributing to something.
To something.
You know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You know, and so construction offers that, mm-hmm. right? And I think just being able to attach like that desire of life that doesn't necessarily have to correlate to, it's not correlated to anything in particular, but that's just a desire that we have, mm-hmm. you know, to see the progress when we're putting in the work and the effort.
Absolutely.
You know, I think construction does offer that. And so it taps into that kind of intrinsic value that we all have, mm-hmm. you know, and that desire that we all have. And so that's just something that I think that it offers that, you know, sets it apart.
100%.
Yeah.
So I hope that leaves you with some inspiration today, or even a thought of like, how can I get more involved in my local community? How can I, if I represent the built environment, or if I'm adjacent to the built environment, how can I advocate for the various career paths that you touch, that you inspire, that you impact? We could not even be sitting in this structure, right, without the built environment. Not even this chair without the built environment. Construction is so integrated into our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
It's where we eat,
it shapes our life.
Sleep, get healed, right? Where we may worship at, where we may greet our loved ones at. Like, construction is
where we play, where we go to be entertained, where we go to entertain others, I mean, it's
equates to the built environment. Yeah. So it's there. And I think bringing visibility and the accessibility point to the students, again, whether they're elementary, whether they're junior high, whether they're secondary, even post-secondary, even those that are within a collegiate pathway may or may not know the full breadth of construction.
Yep.
It is up to us, industry ambassadors, those that represent the industry, to share. So I implore you, even this weekend, wherever you are in your community, right? Mm-hmm. Share your journey, share where you are. How do you impact the built environment with the next generation? Just have a conversation. Or hey, if you are in high school, if you're in junior high and you're watching, if you're in college, right? If you're early in your career, I want you as well as the vet, as well as the person that's new kid on the block. I want you also to share your journey. Give visibility to what you do, because you might be a new PE. They're like, "What's a PE? What's a project engineer?" You might be a new superintendent. You might be a new apprentice. They have no idea what is an apprentice, right? Share your journey, because I tell you, even what we do day to day, make it a deposit into the next generation. You will have no clue of when they're going to cash out, but to make the deposit is key essential, and the next generation depends on it. So whatever you are, I employ you. I invite you to make a deposit into the next generation and show them, give them more visibility to the built environment as a whole, beyond the hard hat and the hammer.
Yeah. And and of course we're always, we're out and about. We do this, right? And we understand capacity as well. But for us, we always offer the opportunity to support in any way you can.
Absolutely.
Right? Like we wear our ConstructReach wear, right? Yes, it looks good. We are into fashion a lot, you know what I'm saying? So of course it's gonna look good, but this is an opportunity for you to support, someone else learning about the industry of construction, someone else being put in a position to enter into an opportunity, or an opportunity presented to them, right? Because of the work that we do, like you actually get a chance to shop with a purpose, right? Like, we got the hat on, we got the hoodie on, we got the tee on, and every part of our merch, like it has some sort of reflective piece in it, because when you see, and we asked the question earlier, when you think about construction, right? Like what comes to mind? And perception is reality. So what words are coming to mind? How do you view the industry of construction? That says a lot, that carries a lot of weight. One of the things that we all have in common is whenever we see somebody with that reflective vest on, regardless of what work we do or how old we are, right? We know that service is being provided, that work is taking place, that progress is happening, or assistance is being done, right? It's like, and so these are the folks that make this world go round. And there's so many different opportunities for you to do, for you to step into, for you to lean into. And that's what ConstructReach Wear represents. You know what I'm saying? It's all about investing. It's all about moving forward. It's all about progress. It's all about innovation, right? It's all about support. And that's building reachable opportunities through construction. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And so it is our mantra, but it's also our heartbeat. Bringing opportunities to those who did not know what they can do within this industry, and bringing the industry along with us to provide a practical example and pull them into a narrative to where they play a large role in that. And so every purchase that you make of ConstructReach Wear, a portion of that goes back so that we can continue to raise awareness, to educate, to bring these opportunities to young people, so we can continue to build reachable opportunities through construction and provide the next generation with opportunities for them to carry out, for them to live according to their gifting, and for them to support, those in their community as well. So that's what we do.
So partner with us, and let's keep this train going to build reachable opportunities in construction and also close the gap while we're bridging it.
All right, y'all. So we'll be back every other Thursday. We're here bridging the gap with Ebony and Paul. Let us know. Drop a like in the chat. Share it with others. But we really want to know, because we asked that question. When you think about construction, what comes to mind?
We need to know.
All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Yes.